Neverending Chain by Dragon Translator. Chapter 105. What possessed you to do that? Hiccup felt the sand wraith shift until the dragon was sitting. Hiccup continued hugging him. The youngling cooed and seemed to curl into Hiccup, though his head had to twist so that his right cheek could lay on the top of Hiccup's shoulder. Hiccup heard paw steps. He glanced, as he was able to, over the sand wraith's furled wing. Toothless's other two younglings stood just beyond their brother's slightly shifting tail. Hiccup smiled when both spread their wings and bowed to him. He stepped back and moved around the sand wraith's wing. "We both wish you to be our alpha," the Nada said, his voice male. "Please stand," Hiccup said. They did so, and he held out both hands, palms up. They did not even give him a chance to turn his gaze. Hiccup smiled and scratched both. They cooed. Hiccup chuckled when he felt and saw the sand wraith nuzzle under his right arm and into his chest. His chuckles only grew as the other two bypassed his hands and nuzzled against him as well. He saw over the nightmare's back spines that Toothless was watching with a proud and happy look upon his face. The big dragon, still hovering just off the cliff, thrumming noise that Hiccup had not heard a dragon make before.
"I see," she said. "Welcome to the hatchling nest, honoured Alpha, and thank you for removing that fallen queen that blocked so many from coming here. Before I return to my duties as guard of this island, I have a request, if I may." "Yes?" Hiccup asked, still surrounded by Toothless's younglings. "Your brother says you both now fly, since you created the device to let him have the skies again. May I see this?" Hiccup caught Toothless's eyes and grinned. Toothless returned it with his gummy smirk. He gave a chuff and his younglings moved away. Hiccup gave each one last scratch to the nose before walking over to his brother. He climbed into the saddle, left on just like his metal legs since they were not on Berg. Toothless bounced back a bit. His wings flared. He shot into the sky, immediately spinning. They rose until the astonished roars from all who had never seen this faded. Hiccup sat back and looked over his shoulder, and felt the thing within him that almost let him and Toothless become one rise. "If any of you can hear something, this is Fizz, my dog." "Hi, Fizzy." "Let's give this entire island a show, bud." Toothless made a sound in the old tongue that Hiccup needed no translation for. He grinned, tucking against Toothless once more. Toothless flipped end on end, his wings folded against his sides. Hiccup clicked the tail fin to a closed position. They dropped. Toothless spun. His belly shimmied just off the cliff's edge. His wings flared before they hit the rocks at the bottom. Hiccup clicked the tail fin. Toothless flew parallel to the water. He played as if he was hopping over the waves, rising and falling in time with their journey to crash into the rocky cliff face. Hiccup clicked the left tail fin each time, knowing when and where in what position it should be in. "Go!" Hiccup whispered when the waves were no longer high enough to hop over. Toothless coiled. His wings beat. He shot off across the water. Hiccup heard the wind shriek in Toothless's wake. Toothless went vertical. Hiccup shifted the tail fin accordingly. Toothless rolled in a long arc, putting Hiccup upside down for a bit. Hiccup kept clicking the tail fin. Toothless banked right as he came out of the arc. He then rose vertical again, spinning in a tight circle. Hiccup tugged against the back of his brother's neck, clicking the tail fin as needed without thought. Toothless levelled just under the clouds, banked left, faced the island several wing flaps back. Toothless shifted to a hover. "Fly level," Hiccup said, "and go to the deep part, but close to the island." "You're going to jump again?" "Yes." "Astrid's gonna smack up the both of us." "Nope, just me. You have to obey me since I'm the alpha." Toothless snorted, "And it went to your head," Toothless said, drawing out the word "and" for a couple of heartbeats. "You sure you'll be able to get back into the cave tonight to sleep?" "You've been around Shadowfire too much. Now go." Toothless huffed but flew level. Hiccup waited until they were closer. He unhooked the tethers, stood, somersaulted, dove. He heard the wind screech past his ears. He saw Toothless falling with him. He smiled. Toothless returned it. Hiccup laughed when Toothless's tongue flapped in the wind. Toothless spun, presented his back. Hiccup gripped the handles, tugged, secured his metal leg, clicked the tail fin. Toothless's wings flared. They jerked but levelled out. Toothless headed for the island. He landed. Hiccup was not surprised when Astrid met him first. He was surprised that Shadowfire and Gita were cackling to the point both had tears streaming from their eyes. "You jumped off Toothless? What possessed you to do that?" Hiccup had Shadowfire and Gita cackle louder at Astrid's questions, but could see neither could see him. Both were sitting or laying down and had their eyes closed. "What is so funny?" Astrid demanded, spinning to face them, her hands on her hips. "He could have died!" Shadowfire actually flopped onto his back, his legs curling against his belly as he cackled. Gita wiped her eyes, but recovered faster than her son. She stood from where she had been sitting in front of the cave. She turned to Windwalker. "Remember asking if they always did heart-stopping stunts?" she asked. Windwalker jerked. The dragon then shook his head and chittered a long, low sound that sounded resigned and scared all in one. "I just felt a chill run across my scales." The other nest dragons echoed his statement. Hiccup sighed, dismounting Toothless. He looked at Astrid as she turned to him. He knew she was still upset. He placed his hands upon her shoulders. "I have to know what to do if I ever do fall off Toothless. I can't have what happened during our first flight occur again. I jump off him to teach myself not to panic, to teach myself to remain calm." Astrid grunted. "You also like the thrill." Astrid grunted. "You also like the thrill. Don't lie." Hiccup cupped her cheek. "Then I won't." Astrid gritted her teeth. Hiccup's thumb began caressing her cheek. "I only do that when I know there is deep water under me, and only after we are very high in the sky." Astrid's eyes narrowed. "I can't lose you." He pulled her against him. She fought for a couple of heartbeats, but circled her arms around his waist. Hiccup placed his right hand upon her back. His left hand curled around the back of her neck, where his touch continued its caressing of her skin. He placed his forehead against hers. "Our saga's only really just beginning, my queen." End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed this one. I like this one for multiple reasons. And again, I'm sorry if you can hear anything in the background. This is my dog Fizzy. Hi girl. Anyway, yeah, I just find that funny. You guys know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe and hit that bell to get notified for whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night, or whatever time zone you're in. Bye my guy guys and non-binary pals. I'll see you in another video. Take care.